Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Donna, and I'm your host of Donna's Edge Television, Radio, and Podcast Talk Show. Thank you so much for watching every day, Monday through Friday, beginning 2 p.m. on the Eastern Time Zone as I get right home with you in the afternoon. You can find us on television. That's Abundant Television, found on Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire. And don't forget the podcast on thenewscasters.com. And you can also find us on the radio, WZLA radio. That's FM 92.9 on the dial. I was listening to the morning show, and I'm always so amazed at the morning show guys. And so they were talking about somebody from Alabama called in about Groundhog's Day. So they've got a following now from the state I used to live in Alabama. So I'm glad to see that happening too. But I have Kyle with me right now. Kyle, let's go ahead and talk to the folks about, it's been a little bit since you've been on the show. And I'm going to tell you, I have really missed you and your ministry. You guys are doing some great things.
Well, I appreciate having me again. And yeah, the last time it didn't quite work out. I had some family time pop up. So that's always something that I cherish, especially with my son that's about to go off to college. So, but yeah, it's great to be back. I love coming on your show and just being able to talk about and Jesus.
Yeah, it's always great to have you. A lot of folks are in church. A lot of folks just don't hit the church door for some reason or another. And reaching people is what it's all about. And that's what you guys are doing in your ministry.
It is, yeah. So we're a professional wrestling ministry. It's a little bit weird, but we use our talents of professional wrestling to share the gospel of Jesus, and it's a way to get somebody in the door that would never walk into a church, and then whenever they're there, they get to hear the good news themselves as well, and they weren't even expecting it. So it's kind of a twofer for them whenever they walk out, hopefully most of the time.
Yeah, and you never know. Sometimes you just plant the seed, and it could be years from now before that seed actually sprouts. But, at least you're doing the right thing. And I've thought of things years later after somebody had presented something to me. And so that's just the way the human mind works. Let's talk about what got you to this point and why you got into the ministry for all the new folks that are watching right now.
Well, it's I grew up. I wasn't a wrestling. I don't know. I guess I'll just say I wasn't a wrestling nerd. I wasn't against it. I wasn't for it. My dad would take us when we were kids to the Sportatorium in Dallas, where the Von Erichs were, and so I grew up on it, but. I just, long story, but to make it short, I went through some times, about 8 years ago where I was kind of alone, and, I was pretty hurt, and then I ended up having a stroke, and there was somebody in this ministry that I'd met one time, and he found out about it and came to see me. And so that spoke to me because I'd met this guy one time, and at the time I was running from God. So, that spoke to me. So I kind of got involved there reluctantly, but I did get involved there, and it's just grown. Actually, this ministry itself that I am fortunate enough to help lead now is something that changed my life completely, from a person who was at the deepest, darkest pit, to now who, loves life and loves Jesus. And it's just been a life-altering thing for me. So that's why I've taken it on and decided that we're going to change other lives the same way it changed mine.
Well, I'm glad you're doing that. I think everybody that has lived has went through a dark time in their life. And when you can touch somebody and they feel like nobody cares, but when you can touch somebody like that, it means the world. How many people do you think, how many people are actually coming to the ministry right now? And how has it grown?
Oh, so, this is, it's crazy. We're about almost exactly 2 years into a brand change in a totally different direction with a new mission, a mission to give back versus take in. And so over those 2 years, it's been absolutely insane at the growth, but also the change. And when I say the change, is and nothing wrong with it before, but it went from a wrestling promotion to a ministry that happens to be wrestlers. And we do 2 shows a month at our place. We also travel. We do 2 shows a month at our place, and we can have anywhere from 70 to 300 people at those shows. We did a weekend, the last weekend in December, we had one of our shows, and we also have a kids program. The next night was their shows, and over the 2 nights, we had 570 something people in our building watching wrestling and hearing the gospel.
Well, what's it like when you go to one of your events? What's the typical?
So every show is very similar as far as what you're going to get. Even our travel shows, but you're going to come in, you're going to get a phenomenal wrestling show. And we pride ourselves on being very, very legitimate in our craft in the ring versus being, kind of quasi, hey, we're Christians, let's get in a ring and wrestle. So we take our training very serious in that aspect, but so you're going to get some phenomenal matches, and you're going to get a testimony of one of our folks in the middle of the show. At the end, we're going to present the gospel. We do a 7-minute gospel presentation. We do an altar call, give opportunity to respond to the gospel. And then as we're doing the altar call, the entire locker room comes out. So when somebody raises their hand that they've made a decision to need prayer, the wrestler they just walked up or that they just saw in the ring is walking up to them to pray with them and help them through whatever they're going through or the next steps within their walk at that time. So it's phenomenal. They have after the fact, we have personal conversations. If you have more questions, you can sign autographs, you can do whatever, but we're really there to guide them. So a lot of times we'll continue those conversations after the invitation while we're just kind of standing around the ring. It is truly something that is unique and something that we are proud of. So I love doing it. When a bad day happens or a bad week happens, let me go to one of our shows, and then when I leave there, I'm usually full there. I'm happy.
Let's talk about some of the wrestlers who are involved in the ministry, their personality, and what makes them tick, so to speak.
Yeah, it's funny because some of the personalities you're going to see in the ring, is different than who they really are. It's crazy, but man, we've got what. And it's Jody. Jody's on here a lot with you. It's one of Jody's favorites, but one of our guys is HBO, and it stands for Hillbilly Outlaw. He wears overalls. He had at one point he was missing a lot of teeth. Now he's gotten veneers or whatever. But at one point he's missing a lot of teeth, so we just started calling him Hillbilly Outlaw. And he's a rapping hillbilly. Wears his overalls and all his bling bling, and he does the worm white. So he's kind of the fan favorite. He likes to have fun, but we have the bad guys too. One of my best friends that kind of got me into this was Ryan Hart, and man, the people love to hate him, and he loves to make them mad. But it's just we have money people. It's crazy. It's old school wrestling, so we have characters and things like that, but. All of our guys, we work on something that a lot of wrestling promotions do not, and that's camera work and character development. So that way, whatever we're putting up there, we want them to believe in that moment that they're watching. So we kind of pride ourselves on that too. But I got a almost 7 foot tall guy, and I've got a guy that's like maybe my tag partner, and we are the tag champs. He's like, I don't even know if he's over 5 foot. He's a little guy, but I love him. He's my little guy.
And why is it so important, do you think, that we view a good guy versus a bad guy?
Well, because the world is good and bad. You've got your good people, your bad people. You've got your rights and wrongs, and I think it's something that's easy to tell a story with. And usually it's really good to tell a story when you're talking about Christianity. It's because the good guy is the one that ended up being the bad guy in the end, which he really wasn't bad, but they punished him that way.
Mm-hmm.
And so we like to tell stories through what we do too. It's not, again, a lot of wrestling promotions today, they go in there and they try to impress you by their moves. We're trying to tell you a story. If you can follow a story that we're trying to tell in our matches, then we've done our job. If you just saw us each time you come and you see us wrestle and you just, he's wrestling this person today and this person, then we didn't do a good job telling the story that we tell every single week throughout our TV show. So that's the fun part of it.
Well, I think all of that is important. So the good guy and the bad guy. I remember when I was a kid growing up, used to love to watch Popeye the Sailor Man cartoon.
Oh, yeah.
And something that really stuck with me even now is sometimes you would have the good on his shoulders. You would see the good part of him, you'd see the bad part of him. And what I liked about those is the good always won, because in today's world, it sometimes appears like the bad guy wins.
Yes. And that's part of our home shows, which is what airs on Abundant TV. That's our story. We're telling a story there. When we go on the road, we tell the good guy, bad guy story. We may tell like a David Goliath story. We may tell something, but how our road shows go, because when you're on the road, most people, one, they don't know who you are. And a lot of people, if a Christian wrestling promotion's coming in, majority of what's going to show up are church folks. But we tell the story of pretty much the whole show. The bad guys are cheating, they're winning, and then at the end, that good guy that kept getting beat down throughout the whole night prevails, wins, and the whole crowd usually goes nuts. So that's how our travel shows are geared towards good guy, bad guy outcomes, and it's fun, especially when you're in front of 350 kids at a church camp and you're telling that story. They get into it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I always did as a child, and I even do now, because so much of the media, and I know you and I are part of the media too, but I'm just talking overall, the media is always going to report as if the bad guy's the hero. The people in the riots and going to churches and trying to destroy and that kind of thing. But to the media world, the liberal media world, it's like they're the winners. And then you have to sometimes scratch your head like, no, I don't think so. So it's good to have a ministry like you have, Kyle. I mean, it really is to bring the good out there.
Yeah, and that's, that you're right. I talk about that often as the narrative that we're led to believe through media, and it's usually, and sadly, even more every day, the more Christianized or more Christian like you may be, the more you're going to be put on the bad side in this country now. And that's the sad part, is because, I mean, it's no big thing. It's no secret what's going on in the world today. And it's usually the good guys that are the bad guys in people's eyes. And it makes me think of one thing is in the 70s and 80s, if you watched a police show like Chips, there never was like fighting. There was never anybody shooting at the cops. There were, once they got caught, they got caught. But now you watch what we see on TV, and it's always the cop losing or the bad guy losing. But you didn't used to see that. And think of, if you ever watched that show Chips, I don't think they ever pulled a gun out in that entire show for all those seasons they filmed. but we still got a great police, good guy, bad guy story out of it.
Oh, yeah, always. My granddad was a policeman in Oxford, Alabama, in the 50s and the 60s. And so, of course, this is back before it got too rough, But he would always tell me, you respect a policeman. And he said, you're going to probably have a lead foot when you start driving. The best thing for you to do is when you're pulled over to tell Mr. Policeman or Mrs. Policeman, yes, I was speeding.
Yep.
That's the best thing you can possibly do. And I can't tell you how many times that I got warnings because I was honest and I said, I know I was speeding. And I would apologize because it was my stupidity. And I would just say, I'm really sorry. I know I was speeding. And then the policeman would say, well, why were you speeding? And I would say, well, I had an event to get to and I was running behind on my business. Like I had an employee problem, or something like that. And I'd just spill it out and tell them. Yeah. And they would say, I'm going to give you a warning this time. It didn't always happen. Sometimes I got the ticket because I deserved it. Yeah. And best thing to do is just fess up when you do something wrong and just say, yes, I did. I absolutely did. Let's go to a commercial break, and then we'll return in just a few minutes. Everybody hang in there, okay? Because I really love having Kyle on the show. Twin City Used Car Sales has been serving drivers in the Northeast Alabama area for years with a quality selection of late model used cars, SUVs, and pickup trucks. On top of our extensive selection and competitive prices, we offer professional auto financing services for used car buyers of all credit levels. Whether you've just begun your search or you're ready to secure your next vehicle, at Twin City Used Car Sales, you will drive away with the vehicle of your dreams. The sales and finance staff at Twin City Used Car Sales looks forward to serving you, and you can apply for financing online before your visit to our used dealership in Gadsden, Alabama. Check us out on the web at twincityusedcars.com or go by our location at 901 First Avenue, Gadsden, Alabama. We sincerely look forward to serving you. At Lamone's Mexican Restaurant, located in Henniger, Alabama, and voted Best Mexican Restaurant of DeKalb County, Alabama 2020, we're here to serve you with authentic Mexican cuisine. Order easily online by going to lamonsmex.com or call 256-657-3999 to place your order. We're open Sunday through Thursday 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. and Friday and Saturday 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. Whether you're celebrating a cozy date night for two or a celebration for a crowd, at Lamone's you'll love our atmosphere and friendly servers. Thank you for dining with Lamone's Mexican Restaurant. At Liberty Bank, we're all about community, whether it's to help with a charity fundraiser or help families in need. Toys at Christmas or a local football team, we're here for you. You see, we realize the importance of family. Sometimes it's to build a new home or necessary home repairs. We're here for you. If you like the feel of a small town bank with all the conveniences of a big city bank, we're here to serve you. You will find us at any of our convenient locations in DeKalb, Marshall, Etowah, and Blount counties in North Alabama. You can call and speak with any of our friendly staff at 256-659-2175 or check us out on the web at libertybankal.com. And thank you for your support of our community. Member FDIC Equal Housing Lender.
Are you ready?
We all wonder what tomorrow will bring, but the future lays itself at the feet of the prepared and surrenders to the will of the persistent. It's not easy, but today shapes you so you can shape tomorrow. With Northeast Alabama Community College, when the future asks if you're ready, you can answer
yes.
Begin your future at Northeast Alabama Community College.
Donna's Designs offers a line of handmade memorial, wedding, and keepsake jewelry that launched back in 1970. I'm a self-trained jewelry designer, and I will work closely with you to create unique designs you can love and treasure for years to come. Whether that be flowers that were used in a funeral arrangement or stones you found on the beach at a memorable trip, call me at 256-659-4319, and let's think of the possibilities.
Okay, we are back. My name is Donna, and I'm your host of Donna's Edge television, radio, and podcast talk show. I didn't mention earlier, but you can also find us on all the social media sites as well. So you can go to facebook.com/D as in Donna. They'll spell my name out there, and you can find all of our shows and all the different things that we do for the community. But speaking of community, Kyle, you guys are doing awesome things for the community. And I'm also glad the stance where the good guy wins. Phil and I go on these binges where we just watch old cop shows. Mm-hmm. Right now, where we're binge is Walker, Texas Ranger. And so we've been watching a lot of that. And it's always, and I told Phil last night, I said, we were watching one of them. One of them is when he's getting married. And so the bad guy's coming after him. All kinds of bad things are happening. It's just, and you're just like, well, how can a human being take all of that? Mm-hmm. You know, but at the end, he wins. And at the end, the good guy does win.
And that he does. I mean, the good guy. Well, you're right, and I'm gonna add something and say actually, the good guy already has won.
Right.
You know, and that's something we actually at EPW we do Bible study every Monday night in our training, and we went through this last night, and you know, this society is me. It's all about me. And so when it's all about you, it's never going to come out in the way you want it, because it's never going to be enough. It's never going to be enough money. It's never going to be enough fame. It's never going to be enough sex. It's never going to be enough anything. And anything apart from God is going to be unfulfilling for you. So, you know, what are you going to take with you to heaven when you go? Nothing. So, you know, it does drive me crazy. And who's the good guy and who's the bad guy? And what scares me more, which I do have an opportunity to help with this, is what are we teaching our kids? And so they don't get to hear how the world really should be, how Jesus and you know, in this world was designed, because it's so loud of all the static from social media and things like that. They know that they need to have the best shoes and the best clothes. No, you don't. Well,
we need to teach kids too about working for what they have. When my son was in you probably could be my son. So this is the 1990s. And so the weird looking tennis shoes, I thought they were weird, had the lights on them. So my son liked to play basketball, and he played basketball. And so he said, well, I would like to have some shoes. What can I do to get them? Because we didn't just fork stuff out to him. He had to work for it.
Sure.
And I said, well, those shoes are pretty expensive, and we'll get them for you. But now you're going to have to cut the grass for an entire month before you can get those shoes. Well, he already had it ingrained in his head. That's what he was going to have to do. I didn't have to beg him. I didn't have to say anything. I just said, that's the way it's going to be. And he said, okay. Well, my sister, who turned her kids loose, said, I can't believe you're doing that. And I said, we had to work for what we had. And, you know, I said, he's going to do the same thing. He's not going to be spoiled, right, and rich. And this is the me generation coming on. And so I just wanted him to have to work for what he got. Well, he does now, and he actually paid his house off. When they got married, my son and my daughter-in-law set a goal. They wanted to have the townhouse paid off before their 10th wedding anniversary, and they did. But it took discipline. So we're not seeing a whole lot of discipline in the world anymore.
No, because if you discipline, then you're in trouble.
Yeah.
If you discipline anymore, you're the one that goes to jail, or you're the one that gets your kids taken away, or you're the one, you know, and the thing is, there is a line between discipline and abuse.
There is.
I grew up on a wooden paddle. My mama had a wooden paddle, and she'll watch this show because she watches every one of them. But when she even went close to the buffet where she kept that thing, you couldn't find me. I would run, and her wooden paddle, engraved on her wooden paddle, said, "Don't ever strike a child in the face. God made a better place." And she would wear our tail out with that thing.
That's pretty awesome. Because, and then a lot of folks, because my dad was extremely strict. I mean, I thought he was too strict at the time, but now I get it. I understand. And so some of my friends would say, "I bet you get beat up every day." And I would say, "No, I just know what not to do."
Yeah.
I know I'm going to have to pay for it. So it's best just not to do the crazy stuff.
Well, right. And like your son, his discipline in his money management, but even the discipline in, it's two different types, but because of the discipline, now your child is disciplined. It's funny how it works when you do something, you're teaching somebody. My son gets a lot. We talked about this last night in the Bible study too. He gets a lot, but I've always told him since he was little, the moment, the only reason you get what you get is because we want you to have it. Mm-hmm. The moment you become ungrateful for anything, it's all gone. And so we've tried to, even though he gets stuff, I've always tried to keep him on that kind of discipline where don't take it for granted because it could be gone tomorrow.
Right. Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
We always lead into something that's going on. So I love being on your show, Donna.
Well, I love having you, Kyle. We've got about a minute and a half left in this segment. Now, how can folks donate to the ministry? And are you looking for volunteers? And if so, how can they get in contact with you?
Yeah, so on our website, www.ephesiansprowrestling.org, we have a donation tab there that you can donate to our ministry, and all of our donations go towards either keeping the lights on in the building, keeping our rent paid, or typically we look and we search the community. We're very active in the community, so we like to give back to people in need. So you can find our donation tab there on our website. Or if you want to volunteer, we love volunteers. If you're looking to be a wrestler, if you're looking to be a ref, if you just want a part of a ministry of people that are sold on Christ, just contact us at info@ephesians.wrestling or ephesiansprowrestling.org, and just send us an email and we'll contact you back. But it's a great opportunity to serve. We like to get high school kids that need community service hours for NHS and stuff. So we also do birthday parties. We do our shows. We do really cool thing we've never done, but we're going to do a gender reveal. Supposed to do it this last weekend in the weather. So we'll know the sex of the baby. We'll have a match according, and whoever wins the match is the sex of the baby. So somebody reached out and I said, of course we can do that. So you can find out most of our information on our website. We're also on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and then also Abundant TV every Saturday night at 5 p.m. It's 5 p.m. Central, 6 Eastern. And we're on Abundant TV, and it's an hour-long show called Saturday Night Battleground. So there's multiple ways you can find us.
Thank you, Kyle, so much for being with us, and appreciate your ministry in every single way. Thank you guys so much for watching the show. It's always an honor when I receive your email, Donna@donnasedge.com, Donna@donnasedge.com. We'll see you next time.